Thanks for checking out this movie review video. So this is for the 2022 film Virus 32, and that's Virus:32, and there's a reason for that, for the title. And this film is coming to Shudder. It's a Shudder original, and it's going to be on there on Thursday, April 21st. So for that reason, this is a no spoiler review, although I will give like one little thing about like theme in the film, but I'm not going to give a whole lot away. And as far as synopsis goes, I'm just going to tell you it's a zombie film. That becomes apparent and pretty much immediately. Yeah. So, disclaimer on this. I'm not big into zombie films just because I've seen so many freaking zombie films in my lifetime, and they just start to be very similar, a lot of them. That said, when I'm doing reviews of films that are zombie films, I put that aside to the best of my ability and evaluate it from the standpoint of a film. Now, this one in particular is interesting because it's a joint venture film, Argentinian and Uruguayan. So people involved from Argentina and Uruguay who worked on this film, and there were a lot of people who worked on this film. You see that immediately when you're watching the film, because you know how they'll have like the names of companies involved popping up before the film starts? There are a lot of those, and you're like, wow, a lot of people involved in this film. And yeah, so I want to say, I don't know, and this is a tricky thing about trying to rate it when you're talking about, is this super original, is this not super original as far as zombie films go. I don't know what the horror landscape is like in Argentina or Uruguay. I don't know. So I'm assuming they don't have nearly as many zombie films as we do in the United States. So it's not their fault that they're making a film for their market and then it comes over here and it's already been oversaturated with zombie films. So I do want to take that type of stuff into account. So that said, I will say if you're an American audience, or if you're a person who's seen a lot of zombie films and you're not big into zombie films, this may not be the film for you. It doesn't bring anything super new to the genre, in my opinion. But if you're a person who enjoys zombie films, you will probably enjoy this film. It is well done from the standpoint of being a zombie film. Just don't expect anything too unique and, genre, subgenre changing, basically. So that said, once again, coming Thursday, April 21st. This film's directed by Gustavo Hernandez. And let me be the first person to, well, I may not be the first person, but let me be the first person to say this who I know of. Give this person more projects. Give this person a big budget. This individual is a wonderful director. And watching what was put on screen from the standpoint of directorially and cinematography-wise, this person kind of crosses into the auteur space, in my opinion, with what I saw. Wonderful style in this film. That is one of the saving graces for me personally, not being into zombie films. The style is phenomenal. It's beautifully done aesthetically. Lots of really good technical things done with this film. So from that standpoint, quite well done. And that's why I say, if you're into zombie films, you probably should watch this film. I'm just saying. Gustavo Hernandez has done other films like The Silent House and You Shall Not Sleep. It was also written by Hernandez in conjunction with Juma Fodde, who also wrote the script for You Shall Not Sleep, so they've worked together before. Like I said, not really giving anything synopsis-wise other than it's a zombie film, so you really do know what to expect. I will say that the setting of this zombie film is interesting. I do like the setting. It is, I'm not going to say 100% unique, but more on the unique side. I'm not 100% sure, though, what the particular building is. And I'm not going to say anything because if you want to experience it, yourself, go ahead. But because the building is what it is, it lends itself to more mystery and adventure as the film continues. Because as an audience member, you don't really know the parameters of the building and you don't really know the layout of the building. So as they keep moving around the place, you're kind of like, okay, well, now where are we going? So that's why I'm saying, like, it drives more adventurous feeling and more mystery to where the characters are going within the film. Very interesting floating camera work in the beginning of this film, and that gets used throughout, well, not 100% throughout the film, but it keeps coming back. In the beginning, it's done very, very well, I will say. And it's done in a very interesting way in order to introduce a bunch of characters. I mean, it's mainly one character it settles on, but it serves to kind of show the landscape of the city that they're filming in before things go bad, you know? So it does a really good job of just kind of quickly giving you glimpses into normal everyday life for certain people. It also drops, you know, those hints of things that are coming. And like I said before, like it has style for days. This film has so much style to it. Camera work is phenomenal. I kept thinking about someone like Mario Bava. It seems very Mario Bava inspired as far as the camera movements go. Love how smooth they are and how there's lots of movement to it. So really, really good. And I like that they use that to set the film up in the beginning. There are interesting moments in the beginning that give you those hints of what's coming. A few of them, not a ton, but they do a good job of kind of like just throwing them in there kind of quickly, but also letting you get the establishment of who are these characters, what kind of relationships do they have with each other, what do you need to know about them, what's their backstory, you know, all that type of stuff. And I will say that from a script writing standpoint, the story for me, like I said, you know, from a zombie standpoint, it's nothing like crazy, unique, new. But the dialogue is quite well done. I mean, obviously I was reading subtitles while I'm watching this, so, you know, hearing the actual language versus what it's on the subtitles may be a bit different. But from what I could tell, the dialogue was well written. Between that and the acting of the people in this film, and the acting was very good in this film. The characters feel real, and the relationships that these characters have with each other feel very real as well. And that can help with those tougher situations, you know, if they're tense, if they're scary, if they're emotional in whatever aspect. That sort of stuff really helps to increase those scenes. So nicely done. The score. I love the score in this film. This is another one of the things I was talking about from like the technical aspect of things. The score is outstanding, and one of the great things about it is it's restrained. There is a tendency for filmmakers to want to go big and loud and beat you over the head with the music in the film, and this film does not do that, so big kudos for not going too hard on the score. As an audience member, I don't want to be beaten over the head with, you know, the filmmaker trying to tell me through music how to feel in a certain scene. As an audience member, I will figure it out. Most audience members will figure it out on their own, so we don't need to be screamed at. So they did a great job having a restrained score in this. Plus, the music just sounds great in the film. Really, really good. There are a lot of dark scenes in this film, but very well lit. That's another thing that I always look for in films like this. If they have a lot taking place in the dark, and this film is almost all in the dark for the most part, or dark areas, dark-ish areas, you still have to make sure you light the scenes properly so people can see everything they need to see. And that is not a problem in this film. They did an excellent job with their lighting, but it still appears like it's dark, you know? So it can be done. So all those filmmakers who don't understand how to light things properly in the dark, watch films like this one in order to learn that. You can see. Well, I mean, it won't necessarily teach you, but you can see that it can be done, basically. I do have a warning for people. About 30 minutes into the film, if you are an animal lover, you may not want to watch. I always like to give that warning to people because I know there are certain things people are very, very sensitive about. So just know around the 30-minute mark, you may want to fast forward or look away. Just saying. Got to throw that out there. The meaning of the title does become clear towards the end of the film, and it actually does help with some tension building with a particular scene, and then further on as the film kind of finishes out. So at first when I saw the title, I was just like, okay, virus:32. I'm like, I don't know what this means. But thankfully, it does mean something, and it does have significance to what's going on with the story. So, and like I said, there is one scene in particular where it really does matter. So cool with that. So many times there are films that just kind of, it's like they just pick a name and it has really no bearing on what's actually going on in the film. So it's nice to see that it actually ties in. The end is okay. I wasn't huge on the end, but it's also not bad. But then again, consider that I'm someone who's not huge in zombie films. It was probably drawn out a little bit too much, like kind of my feeling on the film in general. It's drawn out a little bit too much. There are a bunch of scenes that seem to go a little bit too long. It could have been cut down. I think with credits and everything, it's an hour and 29 minutes. It's not too bad, though. Just a little bit too drawn out, in my opinion. But there may be plenty of people out there who watch it and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Totally fine with me. And that's great. And I'm fine to hear from you individuals in the comments because I like hearing other points of view. Again, this needs to be reiterated. Cool and slick directing and cinematography, not just the camera movements, but the shot angles and the framing of certain things within the film. Auteur. That's what I'm saying. Like this is getting into that auteur category, which I don't see very often, especially not with films that are like Shudder exclusive or originals. So it's a next level. I'm just saying. Once again, I enjoyed the setting of the film and the warning again for people who are not big into zombie films. If you're looking for something super unique and super fresh as far as zombie films go, if you've seen plenty of zombie films, you're not going to find a whole lot here that's super unique and fresh. It'll feel like a lot of retreads. But like I said, I don't know what the horror landscape is like in Argentina and Uruguay, so it may be super unique there. I don't know. I'm just saying. And the last thing I want to say about this is there is a redemptive aspect to the story. That is all I'm going to say because I don't want to get too far into it. And based off of that, you're not really going to be able to guess anything. But that's relatively common within these types of films. But I think they did it in a solid enough way. So out of 5 stars with half stars in play, I'm actually going to give it a 3.5 star rating. I was between 3 and 3.5. But how good the directing and cinematography and score and acting is, and dialogue writing, yeah, I gotta bump it up to 3.5. So 3.5 stars for this one. I would say definitely if you're into zombie films, this is one you should see. Borderline for people who are not really into zombie films that much. But would love to hear other opinions on this film. Go ahead and put it in the comments. Tell me like it, hate it, in between, and just a sentence or two what you did or did not enjoy about the film. We can talk through it. Do me a quick favor, hit subscribe if you haven't for my channel already. I really do appreciate it when people subscribe. That literally keeps me going with doing these videos because at this point, I'm not making any money or anything. It's just a hobby that I sink a lot of time into. So I would appreciate the subscribe from everyone. Also hit the notification bell button because at that point, you will know when I'm putting up new videos, which I'm doing 4 a week typically, which I think is a good amount. Regardless, I thank you very much for taking your time to watch this video, and until next time, keep it brutal.